Good morning, America. As the sun rises over our vast country, it's clear that this winter has been anything but ordinary. From coast to coast, the weather has been putting on a show, one that's left millions of us scratching our heads and reaching for either snow shovels or sunglasses. Right now, we're witnessing two completely different winters, split almost perfectly down the middle of the nation. It's as if someone drew a line through the heart of America, dividing the country into two weather worlds. In the east, relentless snowstorms have blanketed cities and towns, forcing people to dig out their cars and bundle up in layers just to step outside. For weeks, families have been waking up to icy winds and snowdrifts, piling up against their doors. Meanwhile, out west, it's a completely different story. People are strolling through sunlit streets, enjoying mild afternoons, and even sipping coffee outdoors. Light jackets and sunglasses have replaced heavy coats and scarves. This dramatic weather divide has defined the start of 2026, leaving meteorologists and everyday Americans alike asking the same question: what on earth is going on with our weather? Cities like New York and D.C. have been locked in a battle with icy winds and snow-packed streets, while places like San Francisco have been basking in spring-like warmth, with flowers blooming weeks ahead of schedule. These aren't just minor differences. These are record-breaking patterns. News headlines have been filled with stories of shattered temperature records, unexpected blizzards, and drought emergencies. The East is locked in a relentless deep freeze, with blizzards snarling traffic and closing schools. Meanwhile, the West faces a dangerous snow drought, leaving mountains bare and water reservoirs at historic lows, raising real concerns about the months ahead. But now, as February unfolds, everything is about to flip. The weather patterns that have defined our winter so far are shifting, and a dramatic reversal is on the horizon. Warmer air is finally pushing into the east, promising a much-needed break from the Arctic chill. Snow is starting to melt, and people are cautiously trading in their parkas for lighter jackets. At the same time, the West's long dry spell is coming to an end. Powerful Pacific storms are lining up, ready to drench California and the mountain states with desperately needed rain and snow, offering hope for water supplies and ski resorts alike. This is the massive reset meteorologists have been forecasting for weeks. Weather experts are poring over data, tracking every shift in the atmosphere, and preparing for a new chapter in this wild winter. In this episode, we'll explore why the East froze, why the West baked, and the science behind these patterns, like the powerful jet stream, which acts as a high-speed river of air, steering storms and shaping our seasons. Then, we'll break down what this weather flip means for millions of Americans. From travel plans, to school schedules, and even the price of groceries, these changes ripple through daily life in ways you might not expect. From California's water managers strategizing for the year ahead, to families in Boston digging out from yet another snowstorm, this shift will impact communities large and small in profound ways. So, let's dive in and unravel this tale of two winters, a story of extremes, resilience, and the ever-changing face of American weather. The story of America's great weather flip starts now. Get ready to see how the nation's climate can turn on a dime, and what it means for all of us. The winter of 2026 hit the East with a vengeance, one that few could have predicted. As December faded into January, the region braced itself for what would become a relentless onslaught of cold and snow, the likes of which hadn't been seen in decades. Arctic air poured down from Canada, breaking records and testing everyone's resilience. The wind howled through city streets and rural fields alike, leaving a biting chill that seemed to seep into every corner of daily life. Cities accustomed to winter faced an unusually harsh season, with biting cold that just wouldn't quit. People bundled up in layers, faces barely visible behind scarves and hats, as they trudged through snowdrifts that grew higher with each passing week. A piece of the polar vortex broke off, settling over the region and bringing a parade of disruptive snowstorms. Each new system seemed to arrive before the last one had even finished, blanketing cities and towns in a seemingly endless layer of white. In January, a historic storm swept across more than 40 states, even dropping snow in places like Columbia, South Carolina, where palm trees and snow are rarely seen together. For many in the South, it was a once-in-a-generation sight, and a reminder of just how far-reaching this winter had become. New York and D.C. saw early snow, setting the stage for a long, snowy winter. Iconic landmarks were transformed into winter wonderlands, drawing both awe and frustration from residents and visitors alike. The culprit, a deep trough in the jet stream, acting as an open door for frigid air. This atmospheric setup allowed cold air to spill southward again and again, making it nearly impossible for the region to catch a break. This setup fueled storm after storm, making shoveling and plowing a daily routine. For many, it felt like a never-ending cycle. Clear the driveway, watch it fill up again, and repeat. Snowplows became a constant presence, their rumble echoing through neighborhoods at all hours. The impact was more than just cold toes. Heating bills soared, schools closed, and roads turned treacherous. Parents scrambled to adjust to remote learning, while commuters faced daily hazards on icy highways. Local businesses struggled as foot traffic dwindled and costs rose. The region's mood and economy took a hit, and everyone wondered, when will this end? Streets that were once bustling with activity became eerily quiet, and the weight of winter seemed to settle on everyone's shoulders. Relief is finally on the horizon, as the pattern is about to shift. Meteorologists are tracking a warming trend, and the first signs of change are already visible. Icicles dripping, snowbanks shrinking, and a hint of hope in the air. The East is ready for a change, and it's coming just in time. After months of enduring the deep freeze, communities are eager to embrace the thaw, reconnect, and return to routines that have been on hold. The deep freeze is about to break, and with it, a sense of renewal is on the way. As the snow melts and the sun returns, the East looks forward to brighter, warmer days ahead. While the East shivered under blankets of snow and braced against icy winds, a very different story was unfolding on the other side of the country. The West experienced a winter marked by strange warmth and unsettling dryness, a season that felt more like an early spring than the heart of winter. Temperatures soared 15 to 20 degrees above average. San Francisco even hit the 70s in February, with locals trading scarves for sunglasses and t-shirts. A stubborn ridge of high pressure parked itself over the West, acting like a shield that blocked storms and kept the region locked in a pattern of relentless sun and dry air. This so-called atmospheric wall deflected much-needed storms north or south, leaving the West in what meteorologists call a snow drought, a winter with far less snow than normal. The consequences were serious. The Sierra Nevada and Rockies depend on winter snowpack for water, feeding rivers and reservoirs that supply millions of people and vast farmlands. This year, snow simply didn't fall. Some areas reported up to 90% below normal, leaving ski resorts barren and water officials deeply concerned. Salt Lake City, a place that usually spends winter buried in snow, barely saw a dusting. Parks and streets that should have been white remained brown and bare. The region swung from December's catastrophic floods, when rivers overflowed and neighborhoods were underwater, to a parched, bone-dry January, highlighting the West's extreme weather whiplash. Water managers grew increasingly alarmed as reservoirs dwindled, watching water levels drop week after week with no relief in sight. The West desperately needed winter to return, not just for recreation, but for the survival of communities, agriculture, and wildlife that depend on snowmelt. The hope was for a pattern change, a shift in the atmosphere that could finally bring back the snow and restore balance to the region's fragile water supply. With so much at stake, from drinking water to food production, the West's warm and worrisome winter is a stark reminder of how climate extremes are reshaping our world. What's behind this nationwide weather drama? The answer: the jet stream, a powerful river of air high above us. The jet stream separates cold northern air from warmer southern air, shaping our weather. In early February, it formed a dramatic wave, a deep trough over the east, a strong ridge over the west. The trough funneled Arctic air south, fueling the east's deep freeze and snowstorms. Meanwhile, the ridge blocked Pacific storms, keeping the west warm and dry. This split explains why one half of the country battled blizzards, while the other enjoyed sunshine. These patterns can lock in for weeks, creating prolonged extremes. But the atmosphere is always moving, and now the jet stream is about to flip. The stage is set for a dramatic reversal. America's weather is about to change. Get ready. North America's weather map is about to flip. The jet stream's stubborn pattern is breaking down, and by mid-February, everything reverses. The east's deep freeze lifts, replaced by a warming ridge. The west's dry ridge collapses, opening the door for Pacific storms and heavy mountain snow. This is the change the West has been waiting for, ending the snow drought and refilling reservoirs. The East, meanwhile, will finally thaw as Arctic air retreats north. This shift is driven by global atmospheric changes, including the Arctic Oscillation. The weather fortunes of East and West are about to swap. It's a perfect example of how dynamic and interconnected our weather truly is. For the West, this pattern shift is a lifeline. The return of storms and snow is critical for water supplies and environmental health. Mountain snowpack acts as the region's largest reservoir, feeding rivers and cities as it melts. The early 2026 snow drought put millions at risk. Reservoirs dropped, and water managers sounded alarms. Now incoming storms promise widespread, heavy snow at high elevations, exactly what's needed. Every inch of snow is a crucial deposit into the West's waterbank. This wild swing from drought to deluge highlights the region's vulnerability. The coming storms are a much-needed reset. For the east, the upcoming thaw will feel like a collective sigh of relief. After weeks of Arctic cold and endless snow, a significant warm-up is finally on the way. Temperatures will climb to and above seasonal averages, melting snowbanks and easing daily life. Safer roads, fewer closures, and lower heating bills are just the start. The financial pressure of staying warm will ease, offering some much-needed relief. Melting snow may bring minor flooding, but it's a small price for the end of the deep freeze. The region can finally look forward to brighter, warmer days. The worst of winter is finally over, at least for now. This winter has been a powerful teacher, showing us just how extreme and unpredictable our weather can be. The East's deep freeze and the West's drought are vivid examples of weather whiplash. January's historic storm killed over 80 people and crippled infrastructure across 40 states. The West's snow drought exposed the fragility of water supplies for millions. These extremes force tough conversations about water, resilience, and preparation. The idea of a normal winter is fading. Volatility is the new normal. Understanding the science behind these patterns is more important than ever. We must be ready for whatever nature throws our way. As this dramatic weather flip unfolds, the big question is, how do we prepare for more wild swings ahead? Preparation starts at home. Emergency kits, plans, and staying informed. Communities must invest in resilient infrastructure and smarter water management. Education and clear communication are key to keeping everyone safe. These extremes are part of a larger trend. Adaptation is essential. Building resilience, managing resources wisely, and planning ahead are now shared responsibilities. This winter is a wake-up call. How we respond will shape our future.